Priscilla Whitaker and Flora DeVries were busy moms who found peace in an early walk before their children got up. But on the morning of November 14th, they had no idea of the physical and emotional challenges that lay ahead.
I look forward to walking with Priscilla every other morning. She would be going through situations with her kids and stuff that I had gone through already.
Flora lived next door with her husband and 2 daughters, and Priscilla was a teacher's aide with 2 children of her own. They both appreciated the chance for a little exercise.
It was just a good time to get out, fellowship, and have time alone with one another.
Not far away in the same town, engineer and father Frank Nielsen was heading off to work on his bicycle.
I would get up in the morning and get ready to take a bike ride. I would just take off, get to work feeling good.
An outdoor enthusiast, Frank created trail maps for bikers in his spare time. On that day, he was about to bike down the same road where Flora and Priscilla were taking their walk.
We saw 2 ladies walking up the block. One was carrying a baseball bat, and we never seen anything that would require having a bat on our walk.
The reason for the bat would soon become evident.
And then a few minutes later, we were surprised.
We ended up passing this house. We saw the dogs, and I saw all 3 of them just sitting there.
3 Rottweilers weighing almost 100 pounds each were running loose and guarding the front of their home.
I just started walking slowly and quietly, because when you see 3 loose dogs, you're a little bit concerned that they may be aggressive.
Suddenly, the dogs ran from behind the bushes and crossed the road. At an intersection nearly 200 feet away, Frank couldn't believe what he saw. The dogs were on attack.
One jumped on my left side and grabbed me by the arm, and I decided I was not going to go down, because if I did, I'd be in trouble.
I had one of the dogs in front of me.
I remember standing real tall, grabbing my fists tight, like, okay, you know, you're not going to do anything to me.
The second dog jumped and grabbed me by my right arm. As I was falling, the 3rd dog came running and bit me on my right breast. And Flora's looking at me in this horrified state and says, "Priscilla, tuck, they're going to get your face."
The dogs left Flora alone, but Priscilla was being viciously mauled. Frank was compelled to take action.
You feel like you're getting eaten alive. That's how I felt. I was just being eaten alive.
I saw the dogs there, and I wanted to hit them so bad, but I was so scared. I did end up hitting him, but I feel like I didn't do a thing to him.
As Frank raced toward the 2 women, the 3rd dog turned and pounced on Flora, sinking his teeth into her thigh.
I remember limping, pulling, then I remember yelling, "Somebody help," because I see cars on the side of the road with people in them and just watching.
Commuters looked on as the 3rd dog, unable to knock Flora down, returned to the assault on Priscilla.
I figured that it was my time to go. I kind of said a prayer for Flora that she'd be safe, and I prayed for my husband and my children.
Someone finally dialed 911, but only Frank Nielsen had the courage to fight off the dogs.
Perhaps my guardian angel was pushing me, I don't know. As soon as I got there, I grabbed the bike by the frame and slammed it down at that dog as hard as I could. He managed to dodge me, which meant he had to let go of her. And all of the other dogs took the cue. All 3 of them let go.
I heard a clunk next to me, and all of a sudden my arm was free. I started to roll over, and Flora screamed, "Priscilla, get back down, they're still trying to get you." And at that time I saw the face of a Rottweiler staring at me, so I tucked back in my little ball, and I stayed there.
There was only a bicycle between them, and the Rottweilers weren't giving up. When heroes returns. It had been over 2 minutes since Frank Nielsen stepped in to rescue 2 women from 3 vicious Rottweilers. Flora DeVries was still standing but injured, and Priscilla Whitaker was bleeding on the ground. Spectators honked their horns to distract the dogs, but no one left the safety of their cars.
It made me really angry because I saw people there, and it's like, why aren't they coming?
Finally, it looked like someone would step in.
One man, about 150 feet away, got out of his little pickup truck. He reached into the back of the truck and pulled a 4-foot level out. I thought, good, a guy with a bat, that ought to help.
But it was not to be.
He didn't come. He put it back in his truck and took off.
Now, Frank, Flora, and Priscilla were in imminent danger of being attacked again.
No help was forthcoming. I thought it was life or death for her.
After 3 grueling minutes, they finally heard sirens. Firefighters arrived and were able to corner the dogs so the EMS could attend to Flora and Priscilla.
I still remember her just laying there, curled up like a little ball, not knowing what was wrong with her.
I was finally able to just drop the bike and turn around and see how Priscilla was doing. I bent down on my knee, and she uncovered her face, and she says, "Don't worry, it's okay."
But Priscilla was unaware how badly she'd been hurt. The flesh on her arm had been shred to pieces by the dog's teeth.
Her arm injury was substantial. I mean, to the point where I thought that she could possibly lose her arm. I've really never seen anything like that before. It was pretty severe injuries that she sustained.
The attending medics found that the bites were so deep, if Frank had not gotten to Priscilla when he did, the dogs would have severed her artery and she could have bled to death. Her injuries required nearly 2 hours of surgery and months of physical therapy. But with hard work and great faith, Priscilla never gave up. In fact, soon there was a small addition to her family.
I've always loved animals. Within a few months of the dog attack, I ended up getting my son a dog, and it's a small shepherd. And we still have her.
For Flora, however, the trauma of not being able to save her friend left her deeply depressed. Years earlier, she had successfully rescued her young daughter from a dog attack. She blamed herself for not doing the same for Priscilla and was haunted by nightmares.
I hit the dog, but I would have punched him if that was my daughter laying there.
As time passed, the two friends began to overcome their challenges. But they still needed closure with the man who'd made it possible.
Frank saved me emotionally, I think. If he wouldn't have saved Priscilla, I would be a basket case.
I just really look forward to reassuring him how much I love him and appreciate what he did.
Frank had also changed. He'd gone on to make maps full-time and found a new outlook on life.
I think this experience has given me a lot of strength and courage. But I think the most important uplifting thing is just to know that Priscilla made it to her 40th birthday. She's a school teacher now, and she's destined to inspire a lot of children and help a lot of lives out.
Boys and girls, I want to go ahead and introduce to you Frank Nielsen, the gentleman that saved my life.
After the rescue, Priscilla's young students had sent him thank you notes for saving her life.
Those letters could make you smile enough to cry. I've gotten some commendations here and there from the mayor, congressman, but nothing compares to all those sweet letters from the children.
Recently, Frank, Priscilla, and Flora were reunited for an afternoon at Priscilla's home. They had once shared a time of fear. Now there was time for laughter. And there was time for healing.
The biggest thing that I shared with Priscilla was how bad I felt about not doing any more than what I did. I'm sorry that I didn't do any more.
I know Flora did all she could. She's a wonderful friend because she'd never left my side. And I don't know, I may have been running if it had been me, you know, get away as fast as I could, but she was there. Now I realize, hey, you know what? I may not be here tomorrow, so I'm going to live today the best I can.